for the Packers here at 26. They get Datone Jones, defensive end out of UCLA. He's coming in at 6'4", 283 in a defense that is already pretty much killer. To get a guy like Datone Jones, it's just going to beef up that defense, and I think we could see the Packers making a deep run in the playoffs this year. With the 27th pick, the Houston Texans take DeAndre Hopkins, wide receiver out of Clemson, coming in at 6'1", 214. Now, with this pick, what they chose DeAndre Hopkins for is the guy to get opposite of the side of the ball of Andre Johnson, and I think that's an amazing pick for them, to give, that offense, somebody else to throw to besides Andre Johnson. And with DeAndre Hopkins' hands, I see no reason that he doesn't fit in at the 2 or 3 spot on the roster at wide receiver for the Houston Texans. This is a see a need, fill a need pick here by the Denver Broncos at the 28th spot. They pick up defensive tackle Sylvester Williams out of North Carolina. He comes in at 6'3", 313. He's that Denver Broncos type of defensive tackle to where it's that strength that will just bust right through the line. Now, my question on him is speed. To me, I like my defensive tackles to have a little bit of speed along with that just bull rushing power. That way, once you break through that line, you're able to go get the quarterback, not just making a hole for your defensive ends and linebackers to run through. And that's the one question that I have on Sylvester Williams. But either way, in the Broncos style of defense, I think he fits really well. So it's a good pick here. Wide receiver Cordell Patterson went to the Minnesota Vikings at 29. This guy comes in at 6'2", 216. This kid has hands. Along with that, he also has speed. I think the Minnesota Vikings, when they got rid of Percy Harvin, they knew who they were going to pick up in the draft. And I think that Cordell Patterson is the perfect fit for the Minnesota Vikings. Besides Tavon Austin, I see Cordell Patterson as the second most explosive player in the draft, and I just think he fits in great with the Minnesota Vikings organization. For their second first-round pick, the St. Louis Rams go defense this time and select Alec Ogletree out of Georgia. He's an inside linebacker. He come in at 6'2", 242. Now, if you remember a few picks back, Georgia outside linebacker Jarvis Jones went to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I think they are one in the same. And I think the only difference in the two is that Alex is a little bit less physical. You've got to sit down and probably watch 30 or 40 plays before you can, see Alex really get physical when it comes to rushing the passer. I don't know how really he fits in with the St. Louis style of defense. I think that I could see him probably playing 1 or 2 downs a set, but I don't see him as a 4-down player. So we have a national controversial pick here from the Dallas Cowboys at 31. They chose to go with Travis Frederick, a center out of Wisconsin. He comes in at 6'4", 312. Now this kid is what you think of when you think of a Wisconsin center. He's built like a rock, and the reason I say that it's a national controversial pick here is because if you were actually watching the draft, Michael Irvin said, "Why didn't Jerry Jones pick Matt Elam?" And from all indications, he thought that his mic was off. I kind of see a big deal in it, and then on the backside of it, I don't. But either way, I'm sure Jerry Jones didn't want his decisions questioned by his Hall of Fame wide receiver. Travis Frederick, I do see a spot for him here in Dallas. Alright guys and girls, here it is, the last pick of the first round, and it is made by the world champs Baltimore Ravens. The 32nd pick was Matt Elam, free safety out of Florida. He's a little bit undersized in my opinion for a free safety, coming in at 6'10", 208, and I know what you're thinking, you're like 208, that's pretty hefty for a free safety. Well, not when you compare it with his height. In my opinion, free safeties, they need to be tall, and they need to be really skinny or have just outstanding athleticism, and I'm talking Devin Hester type of athleticism. To me, I don't see that in Matt Elam, but he could develop into that with the right training. I know a lot of people are trying to start comparing him to Ed Reed and stuff like that, and I think it's just way too early.